Hi, Joe. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Finally meet.
Absolutely. What a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure. And I don't know if you know the story, but I was watching the video of your. Let me see if I can expand this. I'm very new to this technology.
That's okay.
Let's see. I think it's the green button. There you go. So now you are filling the screen. And I was watching a video of a service that you all had, and there was a bunch of conductors. You did not direct actually. You just stood up for 1 minute and said, I don't know, let us pray together or something. And it was even a spiritual, not a musical thing. And I was trying to find for us someone. Our chorus master said he cannot come. So I was looking for Tennessee, Nashville choirs, and so on. So this maybe was number 10 or 11. I was looking around. And something inside me, there was a balding conductor. There was another conductor who directed the orchestra, the chorus, and I think there was at least two or three. And you stood up and said something about prayer or something like that, or maybe just an announcement. And something inside me told me, that's your man. I don't know why. I have no idea. It has to be the Holy Spirit. And I told the people later on, I said, that's our man. And I don't know. I don't think we contacted other people. We started by you. And I think I was vindicated. Everybody, you should hear Elizabeth sings your praises day and night and everybody else.
Well, we're honored and delighted to be a part of this project with you, and glad that we could invest in the lives of others for a great, great cause. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the last connection you had was with the host, the television host, Ms. Thompson. Dina Martin could not make it. She had a
right.
better offer, a better world to go to. The grass is greener on the ocean, I guess. And she abandoned us, and now we're trying to replace her as a narrator for the second half.
Right.
And Elizabeth is having a time of day reaching Miss Thompson, so I think she said she'll call you or something, but I'm conveying her message to you.
She sent me an email this morning, and so I haven't had a chance to do anything in that regard, but I saw the email, so okay. I'll see what I can find out.
Yeah. Apparently, Miss Thompson is a member of another Baptist church, and that makes it through her music
okay. And her email address was not associated with the television website?
She sent it to her on her email as well as the television. No reply. And she called her also. We have to send the program to print.
Yes.
And so another thing I want you to pray about, by the way, but please don't spread this. That will cause a lot of harm. People from the other soloist, Jessie James.
Yes.
We thought she will bring thousands of people. She is an opera. She's not selling well. People are not responding to her. And so we're in negotiations with them. It's a very expensive proposition, but if she pulls out, then we are really stuck in a very bad situation. So
right.
Remember that in prayer. All right.
We'll do. Yes.
For the, I don't know if you have this roadmap that Elizabeth sent to everybody yesterday.
I do. Okay. Yes.
So if you like, either we have you ask questions and anything unclear, or we go through it line item and make sure we don't miss anything.
If you have the time, I would love to go anthem line item by line item, and just talk through a few things that I have some questions about, if you have the time. And then subsequently, I'm working on a detailed articulation sheet. I would like to send that to you, and if you have time, I'd like for you to review it and approve it before we send it to everyone. And for those that say, miss a rehearsal or something, it gives us a baseline for where we will make all the cutoffs, releases, adaptations, and that sort of thing. And so if they miss something, it's in writing in advance. And also it will save time in the rehearsal process instead of having to express those verbally, which I will, but if they come into the very first rehearsal with those markings already in play, we will save an immense amount of time.
I have the time, but I would make the time for something like this. For years, my beef with my choral directors was diction and articulation. That was the problem. So I'm so thrilled that you are emphasizing that. So
yes, we will. We will for sure. And so I just want to make sure that the two of us are on the same page in terms of the interpretations, and then we can move forward in a positive direction. Yes.
All right, please send it. But I have to, for disclosure, I am not a professional musician. I'm just a physician, frustrated because I didn't go to music school. So you will know 10 times more than me. But
well, you know an immense amount, so I'm not worried. I'm not worried. you are a professional musician in your own right, although it's maybe more of an avocation than it is, for others. Yeah. So.
Well, I had yesterday. I have a tutor in Washington who helps me with and I had a Zoom with him yesterday. Only yesterday, this time yesterday, and I went in fear interpretation because I sent him a video of me directing the Mahler.
Right.
And I was fearing that he would throw tomatoes at me or something. And believe miracle of miracles, he loved it. And so
good.
So that's reassuring.
Your conducting is very fine, sir. Yeah, absolutely. So where do you guys live in the DC area?
No, we moved to Tennessee.
Oh, you moved to Tennessee?
Right.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought you guys were in Washington, D.C. for some reason.
Hold on, somebody is calling. I don't know. Something came on the Zoom. Let me see.
That's okay.
So how do I get a bless out of this? Live. Okay, I'm clicking to see how can I get back to the session here. Support, Zoom. I'll click on the green again. And that gets me there. And what to do?
Is that Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yeah, they click up here.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, right. Okay. Elizabeth is my better half, and she is the more intelligent of the two. She's not the more pretty, the more intelligent. So, and I don't know.
So you live in Tennessee now?
Yeah, we live in Butler, Tennessee.
What's that close to?
It's on Lake Watauga, and I'll try to turn this to show you the lake. I don't know if you can see the lake through the windows. I don't think it will come out here. That's a lake. That's a man-made lake, and they did it by submerging the old Butler. So our Butler town now is a new town.
I see.
In the 1930s or 40s, the power companies drowned the old Butler. It is still underneath. If you go down, you'll see the old post office.
Oh, wow.
And but it is we're in the extreme east corner of Tennessee.
I see. Okay.
Very close to Virginia and the tri-state area.
Right.
And we love it here. It's very different from Washington, D.C.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
God's country, and the people are so friendly. And they have the old. I'm from Egypt originally. I came to America because of what I read about America, the founding fathers and all that.
Right.
They still live here. The founding fathers still live here, but they didn't live in Washington.
Right.
And so the only thing that's different, that you can just have a chuckle about this, we have a little garden, and groundhogs and rabbits and so on were coming eating our garden. So I complained about this to my neighbor. He said, "Don't you worry. Tomorrow I'll get you the solution." Tomorrow knocks the door with a rifle in his hand. You fry them with this. Now he would have gone to jail in
Oh, goodness.
And by the way, I want to thank you for the aids you sent about the Mahler.
Oh, yes.
And it will help particularly not all our singers are readers. Some of them are very good at this, some are not. It varies. It's a scope.
Sure.
So the ones who memorize, that will help them a lot.
Right. Well, gives us a, once again, a baseline where we are, working toward vowel and pronunciation unification, but also the individual voice parts, they can hear their own part. I hope it helps immensely if they'll use it. Yeah.
I think they will, and but your rehearsals will catch up. By the way, I took German in my high school. I was foolish enough to take German instead of French. But I learned some things. So SP or ST is sh,
Right.
Sprache or student or whatever.
Right.
So our people will consistently say Sprache. So you have to emphasize that.
Right.
And the V is the W is a V.
Right. Right.
So Victor is WICTOR. They will probably need some guidance on that.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
All right. So looking at the roadmap, the items of the thing are the chorus of the program are the same, except for one thing. Our publicist, just to protect if anything happens and to replace Dina partially, have suggested something called the duo, the Vietnam hippies. Have you heard of those? It's a duo.
No.
War hippies. War hippies.
No.
It's a duo of like country singing.
Okay.
And we might give them about 5 or 6 minutes right after I'll Fly Away.
Okay.
And that's just them with their guitars and so on. So nothing to change.
Sure.
So do you have any questions or comments on the order of the program?
Not as far as the order in and of itself. Yes. No.
Okay. The intermission, 15 minutes, is always a point of contention. Musicians are lazy by nature, except for you and few others. So they'll go out and talk in the intermission and to reminisce and so on. So somebody has to herd the cats into the stage about halfway through the intermission. It takes about 6 or 7 minutes to sit and so on.
Right.
So I'll have 4 assistant, or what do you call them, section leaders, help you in the chorus. But you may have to pull the whip and
Okay.
get in.
Sure.
In the seating, again, they can help you. In the seating, our concerts are usually broadcast. And
Right.
one of the consistent comments we get from reviewers, PBS or anything, is your chorus has discrepancy, tall, short, tall, short.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the sound and the intonation and so on are the most important, but if you can combine with that a kind of a pyramidal structure would be great.
Okay. We'll work toward that end.
And Elizabeth showed me or shared with me your layout, which is very similar to ours. Soprano left, alto right, the back, front, this in the back is tenor and bass, and tenor 1 and tenor 2 and bass 1 is just fine by me.
Very good. Very good.
All right, excellent. So now music download instructions, numbering your music. We suggest to people to number their pieces so that when you say fly away, that's number 2. You have a big number in there. So that's, if you agree, that would be fine.
Okay.
Now the roadmap itself, the national anthem, I saw you again sing the national anthem. You're just beautiful. You go all the way high. What is your high note, by the way?
About an A, yeah.
Wow, wow. That's a great range. So have you, and I wanted originally to have you direct and sing. So you turn around and sing and then direct. But for 2 reasons, I changed that. One of them is the real reason is that Joe Carr, my associate conductor, who is going to direct 3 major pieces of Dina, now doesn't have them.
Right.
And I really have to take care of my people, so to speak,
Sure.
Mafioso.
Sure.
So I have to take care of my people. So I gave him two pieces he did not have. One of them, the national anthem, and the other, if you don't mind, is the veterans hymn.
Sure.
I ask you to direct, but if
That's
you don't
fine.
mind, that will kind of make up for this.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I would prefer not to conduct and sing.
Okay, that's great. So we are the same way. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So
And on the recording, I noticed that the chorus joined in at a certain point, but I would prefer that everyone feel the freedom to sing all the anthem with us. Is that your understanding or your pleasure?
For the audience, they do that.
Okay.
For the stage, we try to kind of vary a little bit.
I see. Okay.
So I had one of my, I talked about my tutor. One of my previous tutor was the conductor of the Washington Symphony in DC. And he once told me something that I ever remember. He said, remember the difference between a play, what's it called? A picture and a sculpture. The picture is two-dimensional, right and up and down. The sculpture is the same picture with a third dimension, which is depth.
Right.
And he told me something that I always remember: try to have sculpture rather than picture, because then you have more life. So in the national anthem, the sculpture part is the variation in the stage, but you bet that the audience are singing and putting their hands.
Sure.
So if you don't mind, you can stick with that. Otherwise, you can change it if you're really...
No, that's fine. And once again, we'll ask them to place their right hand over their heart.
Right.
Okay. Very good.
MCs will say that,
Sure.
Stovall and the other guy.
Sure. And so do you have a specific number that you want to sing in the chorus with the soloist, or?
You mean a verse, particular verse?
Well, no, particular measures, I guess, is what I'm asking, or the whole thing, or even particular singers.
Let me see. I don't direct this normally, so let me see what you wrote so that I don't contradict it. Drum roll intro. We have a drum roll intro, by the way, snare drum roll cadence, and then start with the pickup note before 4 measures at the end as an introduction. That's the orchestra. Ta 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 ta,
Right.
ta 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 ta, and then we didn't specify. I'm looking here. We didn't specify the measure numbers. Let me check on that and get back to you.
Okay.
Our
But you don't want the whole chorus to sing the anthem.
No, we want them to sing.
Oh, okay. All right. And just for them to sing the whole thing.
Yes.
Okay. We're on the same page. I was just referring to the video I watched. It seemed like some were singing and some were not on the video that was sent as a sample.
Whatever we did in the video, that's what we normally do.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just have everybody sing. And so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. And also, there was not any particular music that was provided. Was there?
There is, we use the violin score of the famous arrangement.
Sure. But I mean, for the chorus, there aren't any particular notes that you have for them, so they can sing the melodic line or just harmonize.
A melodic line.
Okay, the melodic line. Okay, very good. Okay.
Right. We don't send our chorus music. The chorus doesn't have music for this.
That's what I'm replying. Yes, that's what I'm stating. And so they just sing the melodic line. Okay.
Right. And I'm going to connect you with Joe so that the two Joes can work it together.
Okay.
If
very
you
good.
Persuade him to do something different than what you did, that's fine by me.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Now, How Great Thou Art. I'm having you and Susan Joy. Susan Joy is a great soprano. Her only problem is her uncle, which is me. So
that's very, very nice. So just to clarify, which measures do you want me to sing solo?
Just a minute. Elizabeth, did you say I can play the video here? I can't. Okay, do you have the chorus score, Joe?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you look at page 7 of that score,
okay,
the top of the upper system there, measure 54.
Yes, sir.
That's where you enter.
Okay, and so your niece is singing the first 8 bars of the solo.
Yes, 40. She's singing 46 through 53. You
Okay.
enter 54 and go on till thou art, which is 62.
Okay, so those 9 measures. Very good.
Mine is correct.
Okay, very good.
Now you come in again at the end, and I'm going to give you the measure numbers there, where the audience are coming
Okay,
in.
84.
Yeah, but not right there. You come in. Let me see. You come at 92, page 11 of page
Okay.
11. And sings my soul, my savior, got to thee. And through 95, you sing these 4 measures.
Okay.
Then she sings 96 through 99. This, however, with the chorus behind you. So the chorus,
Sure.
but you'll be in the mic, so you'll be prevailing.
Sure.
And then both of you from there, from 100 to the end.
Okay.
Now I have actually consult with you about the ending, which is measure 104 and 105. You're singing melody from 100 to 103. That's how great thou art, how great thou. And now we are in B flat, as you remember. She goes on to F. Do you want to stick with her? You have 2 or 3 options. First, to sing melody, in the F, or you have if you look on the chorus line, which is under the soloists.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 lines at least for the tenor in the bass.
Sure.
You can choose either of those, or if you like, if you're to go all the way up to the B flat on octave.
Does she have a B flat?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't ask her. I didn't ask her, but I
Right.
think the nice thing is with the soprano being low and the tenor higher than it,
Right.
but it's a lower octave. You
Right.
know, Naomi Judd and Shirley, the 2 mothers, the Judd's mothers, they usually had this thing. The soprano is here and the alto is here.
Right.
Was their contribution.
Sure.
You don't
Well,
have to now.
we can experiment and see which sounds the best with our 2 vocal timbres.
Okay, so the point is measure 104 and 105. You are not singing a melody. You are singing harmony and of your choice, whatever you choose.
Okay.
And remember that 105 is a fermata. There is a hole there in 105.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything here?
Just wanted to ask your permission on page 11
Okay.
on measures 93, 94,
Yes.
and the very same thing on page 10, measures 85 and 86.
Okay.
Just to add some extra brilliance, because are you gonna have the audience sing the chorus as written? Or is
Yeah.
that just soloist?
We will invite the chorus to sing, but don't count on it.
I mean, the audience.
The audience will invite the audience. This is not a church audience.
Right.
You know it, but we'll have the soloists, you and her, do like that, and they probably will sing, but we cannot count on it.
Sure. My question is just to add an extra little brilliance, since we will have so many people singing the melodic line, for those cue notes for the obligato, have the first tenors join the first sopranos on that. Does that meet with your approval?
First tenors join the first sopranos.
And those
Oh,
5.
these small notes?
Yes.
Yes, no, by all means, do it.
Okay, very good.
Okay, and maybe we should add that to the roadmap.
Well, it'll be in my notes that I send to you for approval, and so
Okay,
That'd be something that'd be included there. You can add it to the roadmap if you wish. Yes.
yeah, we always want to have one document. If you don't have more than one document, you'll have this puzzled look and say this or that.
Right. Okay.
So
Sure.
we're on one document and we'll incorporate what you send me to this. So send me
Okay.
as much as possible. We want to send it tonight to the people.
Very good.
All right, great. Now there is one, Clydesdale is a great arranger and we're trying to get written permission for this, by the way. But I made some additions in the orchestra. Just brilliance, like you say, some note here and there,
Right.
there, the timpani here, etc. But he, in my judgment, the first measure 13, for example, he has four, rather 3/4 notes. Ta, 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 ta. See that measure 12, rather, measure 12.
Well, right.
Oh, Lord, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm saying this not because we can do anything about it, but it's a criticism that I have, and maybe you have a solution. In the original, it's faster that, oh, Lord, my God, ta, 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 ta. Here, ta, ta, ta. It sounds like a kindergarten singing, ta, ta, ta. Now, at one point, I thought of a solution, and that is to staccato these three notes. Ta, 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 instead of full. But then I didn't want to complicate things, and I said I'll run it by you and see if you would like that or just stick with it.
Well, I think that the people who have sung this arrangement and a lot of the people that are church people know this arrangement. They would sing it the way it's written.
So stick with it.
That would be my recommendation.
Okay, and I didn't. The better part of valor, like Shakespeare, I said.
Sure.
All right, so that takes care of how great thou art. Anything else in it?
No, sir.
All right. So now we move to I'll Fly Away, which is a medley, really. By the way, in the roadmap that I sent, that Elizabeth sent you, it has the measure numbers. I see that in page 2 here. I missed that. If you look on page 2 in the roadmap that Elizabeth sent last night, chorus performance roadmap, you got that or not?
Yes.
Okay, if you look at the top of page 2 in that roadmap, right here, it has the measure numbers to confirm what I just told you.
Right. Okay.
The measure numbers, the solo, tenor, solo, soprano, and so on. Now, Fly Away, I'm going to reduce this. If you look at the roadmap, there is about 20 lines. That scares people. So I'm going to reduce that. And I'll tell them just follow the score. So I don't know if you have the score. I'll get my score and see if we can follow it.
I do. Yes, sir.
Let me get the score here. I should have had that ready. If you may have that, I'll Fly Away. All right, let us see. I don't have the score at this moment, but I have the roadmap. And if you have the score, we can follow it. You can look at the score and I'll read you the roadmap.
Okay.
So you're directing this with harp accompaniment and percussion. Sometimes we have an accordion with us, but we don't have it in this concert. So harp and percussion. If you want a piano also, we can do. I use this, by the way, to showcase the a cappella singing of the chorus.
Okay.
This is why I don't have a piano. But if you prefer to have a piano, I don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
It may be a decision that we make once we experience the acoustics of the room. Have you been to the Grand Ole Opry House?
Not inside. I saw it on television.
Okay. The hall is acoustically dead. It's not a concert hall.
Oh,
like a symphony hall or a cathedral or something like that. It does not have any reverberation or uh, acoustic, you know, um, resonance. It's a more of a recording studio type venue,
I see.
and everything has to be amplified to be heard.
Okay, it may be too late to decide then. We can, how about this? You see how the choir is doing in their a cappella setting?
Right.
Maybe on the second day, on Tuesday or something.
Okay.
And at that time, you tell me I'd rather have the pianist play this.
Okay.
We have a pianist. Actually, I think it's from your church.
Yes. Well, she won't be there on Thursday. We're using your pianist, I guess, for Thursday for the concert.
Well, my pianist was Dina Martin's pianist. He's not coming.
Oh,
Yeah,
See.
Rick Rive is a great pianist, but he's not coming.
Kim was not planning on being there Thursday for the concert. She was just doing the rehearsals.
Is that inflexible, or she can make it?
I would just have to ask. This is new information right now.
Elizabeth, what do you? I don't need piano except here, if we decide to have a piano on this one. You see, we were not having to have piano, harp, and only harp.
Right.
If we want to have a piano, we should alert her or somebody else. It's
Okay.
preferable to have her, so that.
Sure. Because I'll just ask, see if she can do that.
All right.
Okay.
And of course, we compensate her for that.
Well, that's for I'll Fly Away.
For what?
Only for I'll Fly Away?
Um,
Or was there another one that Dina's pianist was going to play?
let me see. I'll look again, and he's going to play with her, of course. I'll Fly Away. Sometimes he played with the national anthem. Sometimes the How Great Thou Art, if you like the piano to accompany you, that'll be fine too.
Okay.
Give it a audience kind of congregational feel. Grand Old Flag, Veterans Hymn, no. America the Beautiful. Mansions of the Lord is another song we could use the piano in.
Okay.
That's number 14 in part 2. Bethlehem, the Republic, and the encores. And God Bless America and the encores. All these are optional, by the way. If we don't have a pianist, we can live, we can survive.
Okay. All right. But definitely on I'll Fly Away, National Anthem, Mansions.
No, let me. I was not clear. All piano is optional in the concert, except
Okay.
if I have a good pianist like Rick. I tell him, all right, can you play this? This is in the other. But I can live without a pianist.
Okay.
I have the whole orchestra. So
Right.
But if we have a good pianist and he can do some arpeggios and some glisses and so on, like he did, I tell him, all right, play with us here and here, and I give him liberty to gliss or arpeggio wherever he wants.
Okay.
And he usually does a good job. So here, the crucial number is I'll Fly Away. If you want to have a pianist, then we better alert her. And if she's going to come for Fly Away, then we tell her, okay, all right, play in a Mansion of the Lord and play in this and that. Is she,
Okay.
does she improvise, or she is a?
Not as much, no. No.
All right, that again, we can live with or without that, the improvisation and the glasses, but
Okay.
the Fly Away is a decision.
Okay.
So I'll look to you to decide on Tuesday to tell me, but maybe alert her from now, tell her we might need you on Thursday so that she.
Sure. I will work on that. Yes.
Great. All right, I have the score now, but I also have the roadmap. So this one, by the way, I wanted it to be a first Nashville, Tennessee presentation. So you direct.
Okay.
2 soloists, male and female.
Okay.
Of course, then the rest of the group backing you up. So
Very good.
I need you to send me when you can the names of the soloists, tenor and soprano, I think.
Right, right.
Soprano and tenor.
Very good.
If you look at the roadmap, page 2, you see I have lines there because I don't have the names.
Right.
I'll send this tonight out. If you will have the names by tonight, send them to me and I'll include them.
Okay, we'll do.
If not,
Will do.
this will be
The female took a new job that I had, and she had to pull out, so I need to ask somebody else. So
okay.
Yeah.
You have the tenor though?
yes, yes.
Okay. You want to enter his? Shall we enter his name?
I'll email it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So now, if you look at the sequence there, I'll read the sequence and we check it on your score.
Okay.
Chorus always ahs with the soloist. So tell them to ah, whenever the soloist is singing, you back them up. I do that as a precaution in the concert because I don't know if the soloist will wake up with a sore throat or something. And so the chorus ahing helps them. If you don't prefer that, I can live without it if you don't think this is good.
Okay.
But I have it in the roadmap and I would recommend it. Measure 3, Some Glad Morning, that's the soprano and tenor duet.
Okay. Okay.
And that goes on. Fly away. They go all the way through measure 11.
Yes.
All right. Measure 12 is SATB chorus enters and sings through measure 26. That's bottom of page 5.
Yes.
Or middle part of measure 5, 26. Then at 27, Some Glad Morning, that's a soprano solo with the chorus eyeing.
Right.
And she goes on through 30, 30. I'll fly away. Then at 31, the tenor soloist comes again with the chorus eyeing behind them.
Okay.
And he goes from there through 34.
Okay.
Then the chorus SATB comes on at 35. I'll fly away, like a refrain there, and go on to 42 rather. Now, in the score, I have written in a year past, chorus men at 43 and chorus women at pickup to 47. No,
Pick up to 45.
45. And that's already in the score anyway, so that's just clarifying what's in the score.
Yes.
Right? So this is why I don't have it in the roadmap, but we'll follow the score there. So now we are at 45, pick up to 45. Yes, I've got a home. And that is women. All right. Going on to 47, that's SATB chorus. Again,
Okay.
follow the score. Nothing changes there from the score. Then we go on to pick up to measure 61. So they go on to 60. 60 being the middle of page 9. Fly away, long. And then the tenor solo comes in, pick up to 61.
Yes, sir.
All They Tell Me, that's another song. So that's a tenor soloist with the chorus also ahhing behind him. And remember, if you don't want to have the chorus ahhing, I don't mind. You can tell the chorus, Victor said, I don't have the chorus ah if I prefer so, if I, Joe, prefer so, and I prefer so. But if you agree to it, let them ah as a safety mechanism. It's up to you. And actually, the ahhing also kind of adds depth to the soloist. The soloist is the mic, hugging the mic, and there's this aura, this eerie feeling behind. So this is why I also like it.
Sure.
All right. So 61 is a tenor solo. 60. The last measure there, what is that? 64 is soprano solo.
Okay.
This page. Then let me see, measure 67. Well, they tell me soprano and tenor solos, chorus A. So in other words, the soprano and tenor join together at 67.
Right. And the soprano sings, obviously, the soprano line. Does the tenor then sing the tenor line at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
All through he's singing his harmony, unless he's singing solo. If he's singing solo, of course he has that.
Okay.
And then the system below that, measure 70, SATB chorus. That's being measure 70. Oh, the land of cloudless day. You see that? And the dynamic there is 40 coming from mezzo forte. So now we are at measure 70. The next one is pick up to 81, measure 80. Measure 80 being the bottom of page 11.
Yes, sir.
When the roll is, yeah, we go moving on to when the roll is rolling on, and that's around between the women and men. Women SA and men tenor bass, round. You got that? The tenor and the men enter 2 measures later. You're okay with the round?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we go to the top of measure 12. Page 12, measure 35, pick up to 35. The full chorus comes in now. And I think we move on to the finale here, very close. So that's pick up to 86. Okay, SATB, that's item number 16 in the roadmap. Then they go on through measure 90. Measure 90 being, where is it? At the bottom of page 12. I'll be there, yonder, I'll be there. And then they go to the finale. That's where the finale is. The soprano and tenor solo will say, and there we, just a few more years, I think, almost 20 days. So notice here that the soprano and alto, the soprano and tenor soloists are taking only 2 measures. Actually, just one measure, measure 91, acting like a pickup or preparation for the SATB chorus to enter 92.
So those 3 notes at measure 91, beats 2, 3, and 4, those are soloist only, no chorus.
Exactly.
Do you want the chorus on ah?
Probably not, so that they enter right after that. Now you can do this retardando, by the way, instead of ta 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 ta. You can retardando or rallentando this measure.
Okay.
Alarm, a warning, we are moving in, and then
Sure.
go at a tempo at measure 92.
Okay.
So that's not written here. You can probably add it to them. They have to write it down so the other will forget. So
Okay.
RAL 91, a tempo 92. And actually you might do it faster than accelerate a little bit, joyfully and maybe fast. And actually it gives you the tempo there. Quarter is 108, I think. Yeah, quarter note is 108. That's, I would even do it faster, 110 or 112. And so that's 92 now, just a few more. And then we go through measure 109. 109 being at the bottom of page 14. The very last measure there. And there we are going to have the soloist again. Do that, let me see. I have to maybe change my mind here. Measure 109. And What do you think, Joe? I have it in the roadmap as the soloist having these measures from 92, from 109 through 115 as the solo singing and the choir owing behind them, no lyrics. But 116, the SATB chorus comes in with the full lyrics and the full ending. And the idea was to have the contrast, the sculpture again, having the soloist only for a few measures,
Sure,
then the family gangbusters at the end.
sure. I think that as we come to pages 14 and 15, it's okay to have the soloist present in the mics, but I would not want to pull the choir out for this last finale on page 14 and 15. I think you want all the resources in, you know, adding to the full dimension of the piece.
Okay, I think that's good advice. And singing lyrics, not eyeing.
That's my recommendation.
I accept that recommendation. It's a good recommendation. So we have to change now this core that you have, and you can tell them I discussed this with me, and I agree, fully agree with you. So where do you want to have the chorus lyrics, enter with lyrics?
Well, the chorus starts at 92 on 13, on page 13,
Okay,
and they just stay into the end.
to the end. Okay. Let me look again here. Okay, he had, the arranger had at the bottom of page 14, he had I don't know if he said soprano and tenor solo, but he had the unison, the soprano and alto unison. No, he divisi at the end. All right, I agree. So chorus, SATB chorus, lyrics from top of 13 through the end.
I think that would be stronger.
I agree. And make sure that you tell them the rehearsal, we agreed on that, so that they don't say, oh, he's coming behind Victor's back and doing this. And
Well, I always say, you know, if Victor comes in and changes something, that's fine. You know, do what Victor says.
no, we don't want to give them the conflicting signals.
Yeah, okay.
Say, you said just one message all through.
Okay,
But since this message is different from the score, we want, and I actually will write here in the roadmap from 92, you said, through the end, SATB chorus, so that they have it in writing. You know the joke, we have it in writing? We have it in writing? Okay.
very good.
Anything else on this one?
I'm looking over my notes here, one other place. So on the recording that you had at measure 118, that's the fine major. There was a fermata. I guess that's okay, right?
118.
It's a very final major, just have a fermata.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think that was it on that one.
Okay, and you maybe, if you like, talk with the harpist to do some glisses on the fermata.
Okay.
What is it? This is it's an A flat. Is it A flat major? So ask her to do glisses while you're, or arpeggios, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
All right, so that takes care of this. Moving on to, is the harpist known to you, by the way? Is it she wanted to let you know? The harpist.
She's one of our kids. Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So you can communicate with her on that. All right. There is something for the harpist I want to discuss with you in the battle hymn, but we'll get to that. So now we move on. Armed Forces medley. That's the SATB. There is we wrote actually the harmony for that, and it has segues in each segment and the finale in the last segment. If you look at the score, so they get the segue, finale. The finale is in the Coast Guard, but then there is a sixth service that we add as health people, which is a public health service. They have their own march, so we have a transition there with the orchestra playing 8 measures and the timpani, the snare drum playing. It's as described here. then they do the Public Health Service March.
Okay,
Grand
just
Old,
as it was on the recording.
exactly, yes. The Grand Old Flag,
I had one other question about that one though, before we pressed on.
sure. Elizabeth, do they have the veterans in? Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
You have something else in this piece or not?
yes, just a moment. I'm looking for it now.
Okay.
Bear with me, I'm sorry.
No problem. Elizabeth, you have the laptop or not? Can you print from there or Sole Mio? I don't have it. The Sibelius. Or maybe the chorus part.
So your colleague is going to be conducting this one.
Yes.
So it measures 182 and following in the recording that was sent as a link, a video link. There was a retard there. Will he execute that retard?
What's the lyric there? Or
It's R for you.
yes, yes.
Okay.
In
All
fact, you might also have the small fermato, small holes in each note, no cutoffs. R for you, no cutoffs between. So
Okay,
the
very good. And then at the bottom of the U.S. Public Health Service March,
right.
at the very bottom, in measure 62, the male voice parts, are those accurate in the score?
62. I don't have it in front of me. I should have had that in front of me. I didn't have it because, but let me see. I think we play. You're talking about public health service now.
Yes, sir.
Public health, we start at after 62. Let me see. No, we pay.
It starts at pick up to 41
Yes, yes.
for the chorus.
Okay, so what's the question at 62?
The vocal parts for the male singers at 62, are those accurate?
I don't know the answer to that question. Is there a problem?
And then in measure 65, they're just half notes. So should they just be seeing the melody or the two-part harmony that's written in 60 4, 5, 6, and 7?
All right, could I have a little hold on this question?
Sure.
You send me your material in a minute after we finish. Add this question to it.
Okay.
I'll either have the answer myself or have Joe answer that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this or not. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so at 64, 65, see there's the quarter 2/8, quarter 2/8, quarter 2/8 that's consistent with the lyric, but the male voices just have half notes.
I see. Okay, let me answer that later because I don't want to mislead you or give you anything wrong. And I want to consult with Joe or also on his preference.
Okay, and then also in the bottom system second measure, you'll note that there is a quarter note written, but the lyric is public, which is 2 syllables, so it needs to be 2/8.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that is easy. That somebody fighting it out for some reason.
Yeah.
See,
So anyway, just some clarity on that one as far as the male singers go.
when you send me your notes, say, have my question about the public service is this.
Okay, all right. Will do.
Okay, very good. All right, so we move on to Grand Old Flag.
Yes, sir.
All right, Grand Old Flag, we this year will have people doing the IG map, right? When people love this, walk in, etc. So we'll have snare drum playing cadences and then roll up at the very end, So the chorus doesn't enter until the conductor gives them the signal to enter. All the motion before that to the people walking in, putting the flag and applause and so on.
Okay. I have it marked according to the recording that the chorus comes in at page 9, measure 95.
Yes.
And the orchestra actually starts at page 8 as an instrumental introduction, page 8, measure 77, beat 2.
Correct.
Okay.
And the chorus has a round, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you think through the through and measure 137. That's for the orchestra, by the way. After, so nothing for you. I should delete that from this one here.
Okay. And so it's 2-part voices. They start at measure 95, beat 2.
Right. Now there is a catch here. The melody is the audience will sing with you. They'll sing with the soprani.
Okay.
Women actually. So
Okay.
you have them to make them project. You want the men to be back in the backdrop rather than take the lead.
Okay.
Otherwise, the audience will get confused.
Okay. And so as it is part 1 and part 2, what I just heard you say was part 2 is male voices only?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. And
All right.
then per the recording on page 12, we add another whole note tied to another half note at the end.
Okay, what's the lyric there?
It's keep your eyes on that flag, old flag. Add another major, add another half note off on 2.
Okay, that is for the orchestra.
On the recording, the choir sang right up to the very end.
Let me try to remember. Yes, okay. Yes, so let them hold through the end while the orchestra goes in their merry way.
Very good.
Okay, thank you for. Okay, so we move on. Then we have taps, that's 2 solo trumpets. Then the veterans hymn. And we have 4 verses of that. Have you watched the video? You see how it proceeds? So
Yes.
The first 3 verses, the chorus is oohing all the time.
Oohing, okay.
And in the 4th verse, they sing the lyrics.
Okay. But they ooh on just what's written up until the 4th verse.
Right.
And then on page 8, do they change to the ah for the parts that are written on page, actually it's page 9.
Yes, they changed to ah.
Okay, very good.
And let me look at the score and see if I don't want to contradict anything from previous years. No, it sounds okay. There is a 2 fermatas that usually are tricky at the towards the end, measure 91, I believe. Let's see.
91 on the last 2 syllables open. I see two fermatas there.
Right, and so these are very small notes to start with, 1/8 and 1/16. So sometimes people, if they're singing for the first time, they just go through them. So you want to have them remember that there's, and the conductor will give them the signal for that.
Okay. So tenutos there, more or less.
Yes. Now the shout at the end, welcome home, this measure 96. We tried so many times to have the soprani and the alti, and so we found that women don't sound well in it. They shriek. They sound like Hillary Clinton, you know. So we told them, just don't ignore that, and the men do it. Now in the emotion, 50% of them will still do it, but at least you don't have 100%.
Okay, so men only on the final welcome home.
The shout.
Yes.
Yes, the shout to welcome home, men only, and but we can live with it if some women would scream. That would be fine.
Okay, and also in the recording, they almost changed the rhythm to a dotted 8/16. Do you want it as written 2 and 3, or how do you want that?
Welcome home. No, I think we have a new version with that dotted part in it, so it's the dotted is the right one.
So it's bum ba-dum.
Welcome home.
Dotted quarter, dotted quarter 8th note as opposed to 2/8.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll reverse this.
As opposed to welcome home, it's welcome home.
Yeah, I will emphasize the well, and the 2 are shorter.
Very good. Got that change.
Okay. Anything else in this?
No, sir.
Very good.
I think.
Anytime, if you have more questions, fire away.
Okay.
Yeah. I really appreciate what you're doing. All right, so now we go on to part 2 of the concert. God bless the USA. I'm also having you, I'm using your talent here more than once. So I'm having you do this, the first verse and first refrain, and Susan Joy doing the second verse and second refrain. Now we had, every time we have this, the tenor soloist, we had Danny Rodriguez once, and he was very gifted, but it compels them to take the second refrain also with the woman, and the woman is helpless standing there, and he's just saying. So verse, refrain, first verse, refrain, tenor, second verse and refrain, soprano, and then the refrain comes back again. That's where the tenor comes. Men and women join in.
Okay.
The chorus is singing all the time behind them.
On the ah.
Let me see if I wrote. I want to make sure there's or lyrics because sometimes I refrain, chorus, and orchestra sing. No, back perform. You know, Joe, I think it's not written here, but in some of my other notes, I remember I wanted them to sing the lyrics with them. This is a very powerful song, and you need that boom, boom, boom all the time.
Yeah.
So I will make a decision here now, maybe contrary to what's written somewhere else, that the chorus is singing the lyrics. Now the soprano, the solos are having the mic anyway, so let
Right.
the chorus sing whatever they do. They're still subdued by the soprano, by the.
Sure.
So I'll say we're right here. Let me make sure I look again if I don't want to contradict something I wrote before. You know, Alzheimer's is a bad disease, isn't it? Okay, so chorus sings lyrics. Now there are, I think, parts in the score where the composer had humming for the chorus. Let me see. While I do that, are you okay with the flow? There is a cut and sinewy and going back and forth. Are you clear
Sure.
with that?
Yes.
Follows ends, chorus. Okay, no, now I remember. I beg your pardon. There's I made the wrong decision. I have the soloist sing the first verse with the chorus eyeing or oohing. We'll decide now which one. The chorus enters lyrics in the first refrain.
Pick up to 35.
Exactly.
Okay.
Same with the second one, soloist soprano verse. The chorus enters lyrics in the refrain, and then the chorus enters lyrics the whole repeat of the refrain. And in the verses, the chorus is oohing.
As opposed to ah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you, do you prefer either way? Which is stronger in your judgment? Ooh, ah.
Well, the ah is more audible, but the ooh is a prettier vowel.
Let's stick with the ooh.
Okay.
We're focusing on the soloist here. So let us clarify that, and I'm going to write it here. So chorus. Chorus oohs verses 1 and 2, sings refrains 1 and 2, and refrain 3. All right, and the soloist singing. Now, the first part of the score has the choir entering, but we negated that. We're having the choir not sing at all until the solo starts. So
Pick up to 17.
Yes. So all before that is no vocal, just orchestra.
Very good.
All right. Any questions here?
I just want to point out that on top of page 4, for instance, this is by way of example only,
Okay.
that box 25, if the men are doing the ooh underneath the O, we'll change the O to an ooh as well, so we're all singing the same vowel.
Yes, absolutely. And all through we do that. And by the way, the very last, in the finale of the piece, the last 4 measures, That's retardando from 107 through the end.
You say allargando?
Or allargando. Or God bless the USA. Yeah, that's orchestra only. Ta, 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 ta. All right.
Hmm.
So that takes care of God bless the USA.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving right along to America the Beautiful. Again, I'm having Steve Arnold and Susan Joy do that. And Jesse James Decker hopefully sings verse 3. But I'll have our soprano sing in her ear because I don't know how good a reader she is. And she was worried about also the lyrics. I am worried because she sent me a tape of her singing. She is a low alto. She is not a lyric. She's way. So I will not change the key for her, of course.
Right.
See how she does. Now that reminds me of the soloists. I usually have our chorus master get the soloist separately or together. It's a different session before we get together with the orchestra. Maybe in an afternoon or at his pleasure. Says, can you meet with me at this time at this place? Would you like to do that with the soloists? To go over
I don't know if my schedule will allow for another time that particular week.
How about before the full rehearsal? So one night, for example, ask him to come an hour early.
Come early? Sure. We can do that.
Right. I'll send you then, Elizabeth will send you the contacts of the soloists.
Okay.
You know them now by now. Steve Arnold was in the call some time ago. He's our transportation committee. He's a very gifted guy.
Okay.
And Susan Joy, she will come from Washington. The only one that you won't have, the only two is Jesse James. Obviously, she is a star, so she will not come till the very end.
Of course.
She is probably the one that needs the most. But we'll have to live with that. And the other one is a woman named Valerie something. She is the alto, the contralto in Mahler.
Okay.
And maybe the safest thing is to have them the day before the dress rehearsal, like Tuesday night, as close as possible to the dress rehearsal, or Monday night, whichever you prefer. Before so the rehearsal starts at 7, have them come at 6, something like that.
Okay.
And we'll send you their emails and you correspond and arrange with them.
Okay.
Okay. So now for America the Beautiful, we have, you saw the video, we have it's straightforward. We have an introduction, orchestra, then the baritone sings verse 1, then the soprano sings verse 2. Now the chorus sings with them. Let us make sure we don't forget that. So the chorus at measure 11 enters. America, the soprano do that. If I can find that score. And here it is. So if you look at the chorus score at page 3, top of page 3, the last, pick up to the last measure there. The soprano has to make sure they're not singing the melody. They're singing a different tune. He's singing America, America. They're singing America. And that's a common mistake for the soprano. They just default to the melody. Now, let me see what we wrote here to make sure we don't contradict anything. Chorus owing. So the chorus is owing the first verse. Even when it says America, they are owing. And we go to the second verse. The chorus is all in measure 39 to 46. Let us find those two measures. 39 to 46. That's top of page 5.
Yes, sir.
Through top of page 6.
Yes.
However, at 46 now, the pickup to 47, the men are singing the lyrics, not owing. They sing the lyrics at that time.
Okay.
And they are singing through the end of that verse. Now, third verse, supposedly Jesse James will come in. Oh, and then everybody sings with her. The soprano and the baritone, and the chorus is singing lyrics. Let me see if that has anything different. Okay, so verse 3, as we usually do, it's the last verse. We usually have lyrics rather than ooze to get to the stanza.
Okay.
All right. If you look at towards the end, measures 91 through 90, through the end, from C2 shining, see that these measures, he had them without just a cappella.
Yes.
And I found that that's very risky, because of for some reason, they make a mistake there, the soprano in particular. So we wrote woodwinds to support them.
Okay.
So,
that's fine.
in the rehearsal, they have don't worry about it if they make mistakes in the rehearsal. We have the winds playing with them.
Well, they better not.
Good. Class master. All right. So
we will not have that.
That year. We can't tolerate it. All right. Now, Yankee Doodle medley is a medley of 3 Kohans songs, and it's purely orchestra until the very last song, the third song, which is Give My Regards to Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
This is repeated twice. The first time we have them whistling, not oohing, but whistling.
Mm-hmm.
And in some concerts, I had with me a professional whistler who
yeah, I saw that in the recording. Yeah,
it's great, but I don't have that here. So, and I'll point at them and to whistle. Then the second verse they sing. However, I'm dividing again the men and women. So the men sing in the third verse. If you look there, measures 101 to 108. That's SATB. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to the Herald Square. And I'm having the soprano and alto double up the tenor and bass lines. So it's really two voices. S and T same, and the bass and the alto same. I don't know if you have that in your score or not. I don't.
It's written that way for measures 111 through 118.
Correct.
But then on the recording, Victor, from 119 to 127 or through 126, the men continue to sing with the ladies on the recording. Do you want that, or you want ladies only?
Okay, let me look here. Okay, let's make sure we go step by step. So 101 through 108, that's SATB.
Through 118, yes.
109 through 116, no, 118, 108. 109 to 116 is soprano and alto only.
Okay, we have the wrong numbers.
You have the wrong numbers in the roadmap or what?
Well, on the score, it starts at 111.
Okay, I tell you why. This is because we added 10 measures of introduction. We'll have the trombones. So I was reading the old numbers. I'm glad you pointed that. these numbers are the correct numbers, and that is because since, yeah, your numbers are correct.
Okay.
Since the last concert, we added 10 measures of trombone introduction to add stability. So I have the sad trombone part, dot, 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 dot. That's tenor trombone. Then the bass trombone does da da da, the laughing, da 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 da. So that's 10 measures.
Okay.
All the measures that I have in the roadmap, we didn't correct that yet, are 10 measures less than what you have. This is the correct number.
Okay.
Correct
So
that.
if you see at the bottom, starting from measure 119 through 126, it has the ladies only in the chart, but on the recording, the men sang those measures with the ladies.
That was a mistake. They shouldn't have done it.
So you want ladies only,
It is only for those.
and then the men only starting at 127. Okay, very good. Just as it's written.
Just as is written, but I'm
Okay,
going.
very good. Okay, good.
I'm just correcting the numbers here. Okay. I found always the women don't encroach on men's parts. It's the other way around. So, okay. All right. Anything else on this one?
No, sir. No, that was my main question.
All right. So we move on to O Sole Mio. Now, this is another one to do with fair interpretation. This is my attempt to make it a little. Let me back up. This song is a Neapolitan song, and it's usually starts with the violins. It's nice when you are serenading someone, but if you have 200 voice choir and 70 voice orchestra, it doesn't fit. If you listen to the three tenors, by the way, the famous concerts,
Right.
have what's his name, Mehta directing.
Mehta, yeah.
He's saying, just go stronger, because it's you can't do that. So I made it powerful and start with the brass. In fact, I have the timpani and the cymbals and so on, the whole thing. I added a few measures there for the timpani and the brass, and before that also I had a introduction by the other famous Neapolitan song, which is Venice, Carnival de Venice. Ta, 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 ta. I have the trumpet solo play that, an echo of it, not the exact melody, but an echo of it, to like an ambiance. Then I get the timpani and the piano, and then boom, the percussion, the brass. I also did something else, and that is cut verse 2. So I have verse 1, refrain, and then repeat the refrain in mid verse 2. So it's shorter. And by the way, I sent that to our friend, your guy, the tenor guy,
Mike.
I hope he's okay. I didn't hear from him. I wrote him, please tell me if you have any questions, if you have any way to check with him and see if he has any questions.
Okay.
And tell him, please, if this is a different arrangement. I have some people who are very purists in my orchestra. If it is like this, why are you changing it? In fact, I had my associate conductor, Joe. He's the ultimate purist. It's written, we do this. It's like gospel. And he's right in most instances. He's very gifted, by the way, in wood shedding in the rehearsals. But in Stars and Stripes, many years ago, I had the vision, God help us, to hold one of the notes and then ta 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 ta. And you can't imagine how many times Joe came to me and said, if Sousa wanted this, he would have written it. Now, Joe came to me after some years, sometimes, he said, now when he goes in his orchestra and plays, he's a social conductor in another orchestra. Whenever they play this, in his ear, he's playing our arrangement. He was converted.
You converted
to Baptist now. So,
that's great.
I hope your tenor friend will not be a purist and will not be angry at us.
He'll be fine.
So we have a trumpet introduction. These are 8 measures. Then we have verse 1 and refrain 1. These are the soloist. When we come back on the repeat of the refrain, I have the first 4 measures. Let me see. Did you give me the O Sole Mio, Elizabeth? The chorus. Oh, in the printer. Okay. You have the chorus score that we sent out to Joe for O Sole Mio?
I have it in front of me, yes.
So there are many measures that are tacit, and we'll just tell them, don't worry, don't count, because these are too many to count. We'll tell them just when we come to the second verse, second refrain. So after he says the first ending, oh, ta, 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 then we go back to the second refrain. I'll start with the tenors. Que bella sora, which is, let me see, that would be page 3. Look at page 3. So now the tenor the soloist has sung verse 1, refrain 1, and now we're in the repeat of the refrain.
But you have them, as it's written, you have them actually doing the pickups into that, the ma, na, tu, so.
Yes, I haven't do the pickup. In fact, it's written in the repeat. If you look at page 4,
Yes.
it's there. So ideally they would start at but it's easier for them to start here.
Oh, so you don't want them to start?
No, they'll start at the pickup, but they read, instead of reading from here, or you tell me if you think they should read from here, from the end is better, or read from page 2.
It depends on how their music's laid out.
Well, they'll have it like this. They'll follow him.
It's 6 and 1, half a dozen another. We might want to have them just write it in the margin so they don't have any page turns if there's a page turn involved.
Okay, you can do that in the rehearsal, but
Yes.
it's also in here, written here already,
Mhm.
page 2. So all I need is refer to page 2. Now, remember that there are 2 fermatas there, ma, nato. Both of them are held. Ma, na, and it's fortissimo. This will be a very powerful entrance for the tenors. I didn't write I wrote men because I wanted, it says, where is it? Tenor solo, men. Okay, on top of page 3, in the lower scale here, lower here,
Yes, sir.
see the tenor and, so I wrote tenor and bass together. I don't know if the basses can go that high. So you can try in the rehearsal and see. They can also do it in octave, da, da. But if you feel that the octave will reduce the strength of the tenors, in other words, we want this to be very powerful. Ta, ti, ta, ta, is any first verse. Then this we want it to be fortissimo.
What we might ask is for any baritones that have a public F sharp to sing the upper octave.
Okay, good. So you don't want them to sing in the octave in the lower B flat.
Oh, they can, but if they have the upper will bring more power.
Exactly. That's we want to emit power in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast the next 4 measures or 3 measures or 2.5 measures. We want very soft women.
Soft. Okay.
Pianissimo. Okay. Again, the scales, remember, from very strong to the contrast.
Okay.
Then the soloist will come in 42 and take it through the end. And the chorus enders in the second ending on the te, the last syllable that he says. Ta, 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 te. So these last 2 measures, at least 3 measures, 2 measures rather, We have the soprano holding the holding. We have the alto moving there, ta 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 ti, and then the tenor and the bass is ta ta ta. So you have moving notes for them.
Okay. And will that be a retired or will it be
Molto retard.
molto retired? Okay.
I don't know if I wrote it or not, but yeah, molto retard and again powerful ending. All right, clear on this one?
Yes, sir.
So now we move on to mansions of the Lord. And then in the introduction of the orchestra, they don't have to worry about this, the chorus, but just for your information, I'm adding a fermata with a cutoff on measure 8 for the horns there, and then going from there.
Okay.
Don't lose their count if they're counting. Then the chorus enters, of course, in top of measure 19. I don't know if you have which score you have, but it's measure.
Pick up to 17 on my chart.
Yeah, pick up to 17, exactly. And you notice that there is counting in 2, from 4 to 2, and 2 measure, two spots there, there and there. We go on to the second verse. Again, there are 2 measures counting in 2. Then we go to the third measure. That's where we usually have a problem. No, before the third measure, there is the eyeing in measure 39.
Okay.
The men, then the women, and it's kind of awkward. The oboe is descending, and then the men enter on the downbeat, so they have to be very alert to that. The horns would be accompanying them, and if they come later than the horn, they are too late. They have to enter right on the downbeat of this, and the women on beat 3 of that measure.
Okay.
And they go on. Then I have a soloist. De Kunst will do this. Now, a common problem with this, in almost universally, is measure 56. That's just before the ending. The ending is 61, I think, or 62. Mansions of the Lord. In the mansions. This is a half note. Almost every time we see mansions before that, it's a quarter note. In the mansions of, so here they forget. In the mansions, so you have to go over this and dig it in the right. And when you take the soloist, remind him, tell him, you will have a problem here. It's different mansions.
Okay.
We had that. We had a concert in a big arena in Houston, very huge arena, and I'll stop here. So just remember.
It's augmented.
All right. Anything in this one?
No, sir.
All right. Now we go to the big one, the mother. And I don't think we need to worry about it because your instructions will help them a lot in this. So let me see if you have any questions.
I think your instructions are very, very clear on the performance roadmap.
Okay, I'm going to reduce this a little bit because sometimes too many instructions backfire. They just get confused.
Okay.
I got very happy when I saw Mahler's remarks. If you look at his sheets, every measure he writes something. So
He was very specific, wasn't he?
Every measure. Good. Now, 2 questions to you. Are you okay with them sitting and standing in the Sturban segment?
Sure.
That's measure rehearsal 47.
Yes.
So I'm not going to point them. Who will tell them to sit? They should know, but somebody has also to lead.
Well, as long as it's written in their score, and you're specific that that's where they sit, I think we'll just trust them to do it. You know.
But you have 4 concert. 4 or 8. I forget. Assistant
section leaders.
So they can help you out.
Yeah,
that.
Sure.
But the visual is very important. The sitting visual is not important because nobody will notice it. The stand up with Auferstehen,
right,
is very important. They have to stand up all together.
Right.
Are you okay with the English lyrics for these 8 measures?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Rise again, yes, I'll rise again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, notice that I have a reverse diamond dynamic in 7/16 and also in 7/26. 7/16 is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 after rehearsal 48. Mine hurts. Mine hurts. Okay, so they go down and then expand. So I'm going to do like this. Mine hurts. And then expand from there.
Okay.
The same with got. Mine sugot, which is 1 after 49. Sugot. Oh, and then they explode in the next measure.
Okay.
Then we have 3 measure 7 to 8 is 3, and I will count like this: 1, 2. Now when I count the 2 and go into 3, some people may think it's a cut off, so I want to alert them that I'm just counting 1, 2, 3. This is not a cut off, it's just the second beat, but to make it clear: 1, 2, 3. Then we go to the next one. Measure 731 is very crucial for the alto and the trumpets and so on. The alto and the tenors is the two. Who has a second half note?
The altos.
Altos only.
Yes.
So they become very important. I don't mind, by the way, if you have some soprani, give them, to use your term, brilliance in this one.
Right.
Because I think the second half note is just as important as the first one. So what I'm going to do is like this, da, that's the first one. Then I'll go down again, and second one, and both of them will be molto ritardando, both of these, with the fermatas, of course.
Yes, we may have to move some of the second sopranos down to pick up those, higher notes for the altos there, because most of my altos, I know my choir, don't have a high G.
Okay, yeah. That will go in with what I just said. It will give them the brilliance that you want.
So, yes.
You'd have to have some soprano hold the first note, though.
Yes.
And the second ones.
Right. We'll just have to work with the balance and see what works best with the voices we have.
Right. And I'll have the trombones and trumpets support the alti, so they'll not be alone, but
Sure.
I want one voice to be up.
Well, in most cases, the orchestra is going to cover up the choir in that one, because it's a tour de force in the orchestra, right?
Now, by the way, I completely agree with you about the organ. Elizabeth is overruling us, so I'm waiting to see how she and the
Okay. Can we have a conversation about that right now?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Her or
So,
me?
was that?
Okay, go ahead. I thought you wanted to talk to her.
No, with you. So the reason for pulling away from the organ was because of the expense.
Yeah, the expense. You see, we are selling only 15% of the 100. If you look at the pie chart of the tickets, if you look at this, for example, this is a pie chart. We're selling this much.
Oh, okay.
The Opry alone is costing $100,000.
Wow.
Everything, every breath you take, you pay, and it's a union hall, so it's just and that's the whole problem we're having with Jesse James now. But that's the problem. It's a financial problem. I am completely with the organ, by the way. I like it to rumble there.
Well, I have been in dialogue with our organist who's willing to play without any compensation. Okay. So he's willing to play gratis.
Okay, that's great.
And I've been in touch with the supplier of the instrument, and he said he understands that's not a problem. Give me just a second, Victor. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, do you have your email there?
I am new to this, so on the iPhone. Okay, yeah, I have my iPhone. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to send you a link. And this link, let me just make sure this is the one. Yes, okay. This is not a true Rogers organ. It's like a keyboard, okay?
Right.
And it does not have a pedal board. But the sounds on it that are MIDI sounds are very realistic and sounds like a pipe organ.
Okay.
And so it's more like just a small electronic keyboard as opposed to an organ.
Okay.
Okay. And Kenneth Varner, our organist, says, I would be happy to play this if it would be supportive of the project.
Okay.
And it would be for the Mahler and anything else that you want, organ added on. He plays very much improvisationally and can add a lot of, additional nuance to everything. And the rental on it would only be $350.
I think I'm looking at Elizabeth. She just talked to our finance, but I think 350 is very reasonable. Okay, you have my vote, but I'm not the final one.
Well, let me know. But look at the video, and you can hear that this is a demonstration video from the company.
You send that to AOL, to me, or to Elizabeth?
I'm sorry?
Who did you send? Which email you send it to?
I sent it to your personal email and also to the MMG email. It went to both just now.
Okay. My American Online is a bit slow, so let me go see if I can. Yeah, I got it. This is it. Yes, piano on it as well.
Hello, everyone. Today I would like to show.
I have it here. It's playing.
Okay. Yeah, it has lots of different features. It has harpsichord, it has celesta. It has, of course, the main thing that we were looking for was a pipe organ sound. It's a pretty realistic MIDI sound.
Okay, you have my vote. You have my vote. It's my vote is yes, but there are others who, and maybe you can get back to him, Elizabeth, by today or tomorrow. So she'll get back to you, and okay. I'm for it. I also, that reminds me, as what we have in the Veterans Hymn, the last verse, when the audience comes in, we have the organ playing. We ought to have the organ playing.
Okay.
And in the Battle Hymn of the Republic, when the audience comes at the very end, we also have, and
add a lot.
And the God Bless America. So by all means,
add a lot. Add a lot.
One caution though: make sure he connects. If we get the green light, I think we will. But that they connect it to the audio system of the hall, so that it goes into the broadcast also, and maybe you talk to the guy talk to the audio people, because they have 86 or 68 microphones for the orchestra and the chorus. Yeah. And we have to mic him, or at least find a way to do that.
Well, he has to be plugged into
their sound system.
Yeah.
One more thing I'd like him to do, if I'd like an organist to do, if we get the organ, and it is in the pre-concert that he played the toccata and fugue leading to the concert.
Okay, that's one thing he said he could not do on this particular keyboard. So he would not do the pre-concerts on this because he just cannot make it all work with a single manual and no pedals.
Okay, he cannot do the toccata and fugue, or he cannot play in the pre-concert at all. He plays another piece?
I can ask them, but he was not able to play the piece that you wanted. No.
Okay, I think the organ itself would be a nice prelude, whatever piece he chooses. So he
Okay.
can choose, for example, sheep may safely graze, or Yezo, joy of my soul, ta 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 ti ta ta ti ta ti, Yezo,
Mhm.
lover
Okay.
of my soul, something.
I can ask him,
And that would be towards the end of the concert, and of the pre-concert rather. If he doesn't mind people walking in and sitting while he's playing.
sure, of course.
It'll be in church you do that sometimes before the service. You have a
That's right. That's right.
make it a church the opera. All right, so we're all set with the Mahler.
I believe so. Yes.
Great. So now we have the Stars and Stripes. This is an eternal thing in our perpetual thing, and that is when we get to the flag waving,
Mhm.
I don't know why they do it wrong. You have in the same picture somebody doing this and somebody doing that. So we told them left, up, right, down, but still, or we told them downbeat is up, but that confuses them. The downbeat is really up or left. The upbeat is right. You may devise something different, and some people in our rehearsal stand in front of them and do this like they do in the school. Do with me, and
Right.
it is always a point of contention when we send the tape for broadcast, because those people in the television land don't care about the music. They like the optics. Your people are not together. This is bad production value.
Right. Right.
And then on the repeat, we slow down. You saw the video.
Mhm.
So we have a very slow segment, then we hurry up at the end.
Sure.
So we don't need to go over it now. You have that.
Sure. We'll figure it out.
And we'll make sure that we have small flags for them. Now, if they love us after all that and not hit us, we have two encores.
Okay.
Bethlehem the Republic and the other one. Bethlehem, I'm not starting from the top. I'm saving 3 minutes by starting just before the male quartet. Is it quartet or octet? I forget. Male. In the beauty of the, that's okay. I'm starting the orchestra at the piece with the orchestra at top of page 7. The rehearsal section 8, change of key.
Okay.
Measure 71.
Okay.
So most measures of the orchestra. Then we have the a cappella verse, which is male, first tenor, like a barbershop quartet, first tenor, second tenor. My question to you is, what is your preference? I seek your advice. Would you prefer that I have 4 people up front singing this as a quartet, or the male choir singing this?
Okay. I would prefer the choir. And I haven't heard the choir, so hopefully it'll be well. If it's not, after Sunday afternoon, we'll start making an adjustment, okay?
All right, so you will tell me, and I'll defer to you on this.
Okay.
You will tell me is fine. I just want to know if you do the others, you need to give the names to Elizabeth so that she enters it in the script.
Okay. All right. But
Now,
my aspiration would be to have the male chorus do it.
okay, maybe stick with this then.
That would be my preference. Yes.
Let's stick with that. Now, there is a catch here. I'm having fermatas all over the place. In the beauty of the lilies, I'm adding a fermata there. You have it in your score or not?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Christ was born in C, Christ was born in C, again, it's another fermata. That's measure 8. And then another fermata printed, as printed is measure 4, measure 84. Bozo, and in the fermata, I'm asking them to hold bosom till I cut them. So it's not it's with like an o, bosom,
Close to the
right? Then another fermata written in H85 as written. I'm not adding that.
Can we go back to bosom for just a moment?
Right.
Do you breathe after bosom or do you connect it to that?
Breathe.
Breathe. Okay. All right.
And I'm doing, by the way, I'll tell you about the harp in a second. There is harp written here or piano, but I'm adding harp arpeggios here. But there is another fermata in measure 86, top of page 8.
Yes.
To make men holy. Now, as we get to that measure, this phrase, as we get to measure holy, we speed up a little bit. So the first parts are very somber. He died, the battle of the bosom of the valley. Then as he died to get to holy, let us die to make men free. And God is marching in, really acceleration. Well, God is 120. Well, God is marching on. Now,
yes.
I usually direct this, dictate this, because I usually have the choir, by the way, you sing it, not the quartet. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I say, in the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea. Sorry about my saying. Would you prefer that, or you want me to just count? I found that the dictation means that the diction will be correct because they'll follow each note.
Sure. Well, this is the way I usually do it, you know. So they know where 1 is, 2 is, and 3 is, but I do subdivide and rubato. But
So-
you do what they'll follow you if you dictate every note. That's the main thing that they need to know. Because I'm doing the same thing. Ba da dee da 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 dee da. Be da 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 da.
You're halfway there. You're halfway to the dictating each one. You're just count. So maybe in the rehearsal, tell them you'll do that, but remind them that Victor will dictate the notes so that it's one step further.
Sure.
Different. It's actually probably easier.
Sure. Because you're going to do.
In the beauty of the lily.
Yep. Yep. That works.
Okay. Now I'm having the harp play in the fermata, in the the halls, during the halls.
Okay.
If I have the organ with us, if we end up having the organ, I don't mind him also. No, let me take that back. Let's have only the harp here. So the harp is playing through the fermatas.
Mhm.
Then the organ, by the way, enters in we get the audience at the very end. Glory, glory, hallelujah, at the very end. That's coming later on. So now we have back to measure 89, bottom of page 8. We have ta 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 ta. Then glory, glory, hallelujah, the chorus. Again, tempo 1. It may be even faster than tempo 1, a little bit faster, getting to towards the end. Then we get to the audience, which is actually, it's written there, measure section 12, top of page 10. Broadly, glory, glory, with the audience. And we ask, we don't have soloists. I was going to say as a soloist, we don't have soloists. We go usually as a soloist to have them sing, because we have soloists in verse 1 and 2, but we don't, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
Now, a pet peeve of mine is in the amens at the end. Two pet peeves. First, sometimes the soprani who are in golden age like me cannot get to that high note. Amen. So what they do is do two things. They slide, they gliss to it. Amen. You hear them glissing. Amen. We don't want that at all. Solid notes. Amen. Second point is, if they can't comfortably The key point is comfortably. Sing that high, sing an octave, or sing the alto. But we have many times they gliss and also get flat. They don't hit the note. So you have double trouble. So we don't have that with us, like you said.
We don't. I refer to it, if God made you to sing that as a public B flat, that's okay. But, you know, I could not do it publicly, so.
Don't
you know,
try.
Yeah, and
don't
maybe
try.
you need, maybe your neighbor needs to tell you.
You are the neighbor. You are the good neighbor here.
That's right.
All right. Now the other thing is the amen, the breathing. Amen. Amen. Now tell me in your experience, can they do the amen, the first 108 and 109? This is molto allargando. Can they do it in one breath, or you have them take a breath at the end of the measure, the 108?
They do it. Take a big breath on beat 4 of 107.
Okay. And go through 109.
And go 108 through the end. You know, just you need to, you know.
Okay, no, sorry, I missed the first amen. I was thinking for, let's go back to 106, the first amen, 106 and 107.
Right.
Do you have to take breath at the end of 106, or one breath for one breath? Good.
No. So they breathe on beat 4 of 105, breathe at beat 4 of 107,
and go through.
and then go to the end.
Right. Actually, they can stagger, some of them stagger.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what we don't want them to do is to take the deep breath at the end of the measure of the man, no.
No.
Here, what do you say? Not here, not here, not now,
Right.
not on my watch.
Right.
No breath at the end of 106, and no breath at the end of 108, for
Correct.
sure. Perfect. You're
Yes.
my man.
Yes.
I was right. I was right. All right. Anything else on this one?
No, sir.
All right. God Bless America is straightforward, except for the cuts. The cuts are a little bit, if you are not familiar, you get, it becomes tricky. So the orchestra plays the first 5 measures. All right. Then we skip all the way from there to letter F, which is measure 24. Don't sing anything until letter F, Frank. That's where we start. So we start with verse 2, practically.
Right.
Then we go, and that is, we skip, we go to sing through 42, 1 before K. God Bless America, my home, sweet. And then we cut these 3 measures and descend on home, which is 3 after K, I think.
Okay.
To the last measure, home, or the one before that. Now I do that because I'm a coward. I don't want to risk these 2 measures, K1 and K2. If you tell me that you think your people can do it, you too. You're a coward too?
No, the way you do it is exactly the way we do it.
Okay, perfect.
The same arrangement. I do it all the time, and that's exactly the same way I use it.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Good man.
Yes. Great minds think alike.
Import you to Washington after this.
What's that?
We have to import you to come to Washington with us.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that we covered. How long have we seen? My goodness, wow, 2 hours. Okay, so any general comments or questions?
I have a couple of questions. So is it possible for me and for Kim Hester, our accompanist, a rehearsal accompanist, to get original charts? Right now, we just have the copies.
Okay.
Is it possible for you to send us original scores in the mail?
I'll direct this to Elizabeth and ask her, and she many of these scores are back in Washington storage.
Oh, well, if it's not possible, we're fine. We just, you know, would prefer to have the original, but that's okay. No worries.
Okay, but I'll ask her. And you have another question, but I want to mention something before I forget, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That is at the very end, when the curtain calls and I'm getting the applause and so on, if they applaud us, I usually call on the chorus master,
Okay.
the associate conductor, to come in front.
Okay.
Some of them are timid. Joe doesn't come up front. I have to pull him out. Come.
Okay. Sure.
Don't be timid. Come up to get your due
Okay.
or your second point.
Okay.
Okay, you have
The other question is Joe going to be in Nashville the whole week conducting the orchestra while I'm conducting the choir?
yes, most of the time.
Okay.
I'll take the first 2-hour rehearsal. No, I'll not take it. Actually, your friend will do it. The string master, the string professor.
Oh, Joshua Shepard's doing that.
Yeah, he will do the first rehearsal.
I see. Okay. I did not know. Okay. Okay.
Now, second rehearsal, which is from 7 to 10 7 to 10 on the first day, we are debating what to do about that. There are two ideas. One is to separate, like we usually separate chorus and orchestra, or the other one is to split that rehearsal into 2 halves. First half, I would take the entire session and go over flash points, like, for example, the mentions of the Lord, or the sit and stand, or whatever. And then Joe would take the orchestra and you take the chorus. Or we rely on you and Joe to do these flash points anyway, and don't split the time. So we're discussing that.
Okay. I'm very flexible, but you'll be here starting Sunday?
Starting the 5th.
Okay. Okay. So you're here.
I'll be in Washington, in Nashville.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And I'll look forward to meeting with you. I know you are becoming a television star now. You are going to appear on Today's Show or something.
Yes. Next Tuesday. Yes.
Sure, somebody tapes this in real time, by the way.
Okay. I hope so.
We don't get it anywhere else. That's the local for Nashville.
Right. Right.
Maybe one of the choir people maybe we'll ask him tomorrow on the call or Sunday.
Yeah.
You remember what time it is?
I don't know when it's going to be broadcast. I know when the taping takes place. It's in the morning, but I'm not sure when it's going to be broadcast.
Okay, it's probably, yeah, we should ask them about that.
Mm.
Okay. Anything else?
Those are my inquiries for today. I'm sure I'll have more tomorrow. Now, you mentioned a few times in our conversation today that, you don't want to give them too much information that they get a little intimidated by that, or they ignore it. Did I hear you say that?
They get intimidated.
Okay. Well, I'm probably not going to do what I've been working on, which was the detail sheet, because it is massive. And if you're thinking that that's going to be too much for them, I will think that I will probably just give them the instructions at rehearsal, because you already have a lot of detail that we're sending out, and to send more detail, as you say, might be too intimidating. And I'll send you what I was working on, just as a sample of it, and I will cease that work and just communicate that to them, and that way they don't have to worry about anything in advance either. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot.
How about a half of the middle of the way solution? And that is, I'm going to reduce, for example, here, this is I'll Fly Away. It's very, very long.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I'll use that very small, but I think it would help to have yours, and we tell them, for more details, go to Maestro Fitzpatrick's sheets. I think it would not hurt to have that. for them. And if they get intimidated, they can refer to the small one.
Sure. Sure. I just sent it to you, but this is what I've been working on. And as you can see, it is a lot of detail. And I'm afraid it might scare people off based on what you've said to me today. So it might be better that I just communicate that to them at the rehearsal.
Why don't you send it to me and I'll look at it and make a judgment.
Well, I sent you what I have prepared heretofore. I was going to finish it up today, but I just sent it to you just a minute ago.
All right. How far are you? There is to do more.
I'm halfway through.
Halfway.
Yeah.
So, all right. Hold on till I get this.
Sure.
And with you. And frankly, I don't think that too much of it instructions is a bad thing. Look at Mahler and what he did. So I'm all for that. If somebody is brain lazy and they don't want to do that, there are others who are inquisitives.
Sure. Yeah. You've got both extremes.
Right.
Yes.
Send it and I'll respond quickly.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let me know about whether we want to proceed with that keyboard for the organ or not.
Within the hour or 2 hours, Elizabeth will contact. Could you reply to him as soon as possible? And she'll get back to you. But you have my vote for it.
Okay.
And ask the organist if we get the organ to play something before the maybe the Enigma variations, for example, comes to mind.
Okay.
About 6-7 minutes leading to the I think they call it processional in the churches. I don't know what they call it. They're something that leads to the
Right.
sermon.
The prelude. Yes.
Prelude.
Yes. Yes.
And
It was
since
nice to finally meet you, and thank you for your time today. This was very helpful.
same to me, and since you are a man of God, remember the constant in your prayers.
We will. We
Okay.
will indeed.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day. Tell Elizabeth we said hello.
All right, I will. Take care.
God bless you.
Bye now. All right, can you convert this or no?